Hi, my name is Colin Culberson, and I did my technical recommendation on the best all-around duck boat. A little bit about me before we get started. I grew up in Denton, Texas. I am a lifelong hunter and fisherman. Caught my first fish somewhere around 3 years old. I don't remember for sure. I've been hunting since I was 5. I am a range and wildlife management and criminal justice double major at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. I am in my 9th semester and will be graduating in May. And in preparation for graduation, I am actively interviewing at the Wyoming Game and Fish Department for a game warden position. So a little bit about what is covered in this technical recommendation that I wrote. Start out with basically what is a duck boat, which is, in simplest terms, a boat that is used for duck hunting. There's a lot of different styles, a lot of different options. Two main styles that we covered are the mud boat and the outboard tiller boat, because that was the two most common, and that is what I had room for in the scope of this report. So we covered styles of boats. We covered different categories to try and, as best as we can, compare them non-biased, because I am actually actively looking for a boat. And then at the end had my recommendation. So why did I choose this topic? As I said previously, I am in the market for a new duck boat, and there is a lot of debate over various manufacturers, various hull styles, paint schemes, layouts, basically anything that you could possibly think of, and I'm sure there's plenty of things you could not possibly think of that is fiercely debated over in the duck hunting community. Another big thing is that I love to do research, and a lot of research, before making the big purchases, and even a lot of the small purchases. So how did I construct this technical report? I got a lot of my information from online research, both through manufacturer websites and through forums. And then I also did online survey through a couple of duck hunting groups that I am in on Facebook. And then finally, when I am duck hunting and I see somebody with one of the boats that I am interested in, I'll go up to them and talk about the boat with them and see what they like. The biggest thing that I asked, if you were to go back and do it again, what would you change and what would you keep? Give me a lot of good information without having to learn those mistakes myself. And then I took all of this information, I compiled it into a quantifiable research project, and then I weighted all of the different categories, different answers, and came out with a couple of conclusions. So before we go any further, I'd like to take a look at the different boat options that I chose to look at for this technical recommendation. The first is the Go Devil, which is an 18-foot long by 60-inch wide surface drive hull, which is the motor style that it is designed for. I will not be going more into depth about motor options in this oral presentation. If you would like to take a more in-depth look, I have included a little bit more in my written report. And one other thing to note is that this is a split seat model, which is one of the standard options for this boat. The second option is the Havoc DB, which is an 18-foot long boat with a 60-inch bottom, and it is a outboard hull. The third option is the Havoc MSTC. It is an 18-foot long boat with a 60-inch bottom. One thing to note is that the side gun box here is not included in the technical recommendation because it is an optional feature. However, I was unable to find an image that did not have that feature, so that was included. The fourth option is the Express HD 16DB. It is a 16-foot long boat with a 51-inch bottom, and this gun box here is included in the technical recommendation because it is a standard feature. The fifth option is the Express Bayou 18V, which is an 18-foot long boat with a 50-inch bottom, and the reason it is called the V is it has the V nose front compared to the flat nose on the next slide. The last boat is the Express Bayou 18, which is also 18 feet long with a 50-inch bottom, and as you note, this one is a flat front compared to the V of the last one, and that is really the only difference between the two. The categories that I chose to compare between these different boat options are the hull suitability, the load carrying ability, the hull construction and hull attachment, the hull horsepower or speed rating, the side height, and the storage and seating of the boat, and I'll go much more in depth on the following slides on all of these different categories. The hull suitability is how well is the boat designed for the marketed task. So a mud boat should have a true flat bottom, and an outboard boat should have a semi-V bottom with runners. And this is important because a mud boat does not perform well in mud and other applications where you would desire one when it has a semi-V hull, and a outboard does not perform very well on a true flat bottom hull. The load carrying ability is the manufacturer's stated weight capacity, and this is important because duck hunters generally like to haul a lot of both other people and gear, and it can be very dangerous to overload a boat, especially in cold water conditions where you are normally duck hunting. So the higher the load carrying ability, generally the better it is for a duck hunting application, a duck boat application. The hull construction and side attachment is what material and thickness the hull is made of and how the sides of the hull are attached to the bottom. And this is important because the different aluminums perform differently, with 5086 being less prone to bending but more prone to cracking, while 5052 is more prone to bending and less prone to cracking. Where this applies is any small dents in the bottom can vastly affect performance, so the rating was 125 is better than 100 and 5086 is better than 5052 aluminum. The speed rating is just the maximum horsepower rating of the different boats, as I could not compare these boat speeds in person. Speed is important because duck hunters like to go fast. They like to get to their holes quickly, and sometimes, especially on public land, you're racing other people to the same spot. So if you can go faster, you can get to the spot that you want, and you're more likely to have a good hunt. The side height is exactly what it sounds like, with the measurement being from the top of the side to the bottom, not to the water line. Side height is very important because duck hunting generally occurs in cold weather, so the higher the side, the taller the side, the drier the ride is, and the safer the ride is for the occupants inside. The seating and storage portion is exactly what it sounds like. How much seating is on the boat, how much storage is on the boat. The storage generally doubles as seating, and this is important because duck hunters have valuable items such as guns, phones, wallets, keys, things like that they need to keep dry. And if you can have somewhere to sit, the boat ride is a lot safer than just sitting on gear on the floor of the boat. I tallied up all of the scores of the different categories and came to a couple of recommendations. The surface drive mud boat that I recommended was the Go Devil surface drive 18-foot long by 60-inch boat, and this was also the boat that I recommended for an all-around boat. And then for somebody who did not want a mud boat, I also recommended an outboard boat, which was the Havoc 18 by 60 DB. And this is the conclusion of my technical recommendation.